Denmark has the reputation of being one of the most expensive countries in the world. But is it? And how expensive is that? We spent 30 days living in Aalborg, Denmark. And today I'm breaking down exactly what that cost us. From groceries to transport to those little surprises that you don't see coming. Now, Aalborg, Denmark isn't the Denmark you usually see on Instagram. No Little Mermaid statue and no Tivoli gardens. But that's kind of the point. We wanted the Danish experience without the Copenhagen price tag. And I can say we pulled it off. We're slow travelers. We stay about a month in each place instead of hopping around. That means renting an apartment and cooking most of our meals at home and trying to live like local people do. We're not budget backpackers, but we're not luxury travelers either. So keep that in mind as you see the numbers. This is our way of doing it and the budget and the time frame that works for us. Our biggest expense, no surprise, was housing. We stayed in a duplex style apartment about 3 miles outside of Aalborg city center. The rent, $16.50 US per month. For us, having a wash machine is a must-have. Dragging dirty clothes around, hauling them to and fro, or getting on the bus with them, and locating a laundromat gets pretty old pretty fast. So we always look for rentals where a wash machine is included. And in Denmark, that wasn't difficult to find. Wi-Fi too, it is absolutely a must-have, but it is lightning fast and completely available everywhere in Denmark. And just to give you a little context, if we had chosen Copenhagen instead, this same apartment would have been easily double the price. One tip for anybody who's planning on longer stays, consider staying in cities that are not the capital cities. And also, you might want to think about looking for housing on other platforms besides the obvious big ones we all know about. There are often local renter boards or city sites where you can find hosts that will rent to you for less than those big names we all know about. This might take a little planning ahead, but it might be worth your while. Okay, let's talk groceries. We cook most of our meals at home, which helps keep the budget manageable. Over the month, our budget came in at $462. That breaks down to about $115 a week for the two of us. So what does that buy in Denmark? A loaf of bread can go anywhere from $2 or $3 up to $8. Milk comes in at about $2 a liter or a quart. But when you look at butter, that's an eye-popping $7 to $8 a pound. Cheese is definitely one of Denmark's specialties. And while it's delicious, it's not cheap. When you go to the grocery store, if you look at the per kilo or per price pound, and if you're open to grabbing what's on sale over what you might want to eat that night, lots of meat and produce prices are on par with Midwest prices in the US. In Denmark, and I would say worldwide, you're always going to pay a high price for convenience foods. Things like frozen pizzas, ice cream, junky snack stuff, and anything that's partially done for you. If you can get on board with cooking from scratch and cooking at home, that'll save you tons. The selection of rye breads was never ending, was very reasonably priced, and we found that apples were very, very affordable as well. I think it's always interesting to see what's expensive in each country, and what might be expensive in the United States turns out to be kind of cheap. This turns into like a little treasure hunt for me, and I really like that part about shopping in other countries. Denmark is known for its great cafes, smorgasbords, and lovely restaurants. But eating out regularly can blow a big hole in your budget if you're not careful. We set ourselves a $100 limit for the month and came in at $101. Not too bad, right? That covered one sit-down meal, a couple of Danish street hot dogs, and a number of bakery stops. I mean, let's get real. How can you pass up all that beautiful bakery? A classic Knäckebröd and a cold bottle of Kosio, Denmark's beloved chocolate milk, is a treat you just don't want to miss. And worth every kroner. But sit-down meals, that's where a budget can take a hard turn really quick. A basic burger and fries, or even a kebab and fries, can run $20 to $25 per person. So our strategy was to keep those meals for special occasions and lean in on the bakery treats and even the deli section of the supermarket. That way you get a little convenience and taste of Denmark without the restaurant prices. Next up, transportation. We didn't rent a car, but we did look into it. And to rent a car for 7 days, that would run you a minimum of $100 a day just for the rental. Instead, we relied on bikes, buses, the occasional train, and our 2 feet. The total, $190 for the month. And honestly, biking is the way to go in Denmark. The bike lanes are wide, safe, and you even have little traffic signals for your bike lane, and there are marked bike routes all throughout the city. Renting bikes gave us the freedom to explore the city on our schedule without waiting for buses or having to pay hefty rideshare prices. If you're looking at Denmark, trains are another highlight. Clean, punctual, and around $10 to $15 for short trips to nearby cities. Not only did biking save us a ton of money, it made us feel like we were living the Danish lifestyle. It's impressive to see how much Danes use their bicycles and the ease that it is to get around. Denmark has incredible cultural sites, but you don't have to spend a fortune visiting them. One of our favorite spots was Lindholm Holje, something like that, which is a Viking burial ground. It was eerie and fascinating, and because we took advantage of half-price Tuesdays, we got in for half price and was very reasonable. For museums, a day trip to Skagen, and other activities, our total came to $149 for the month. I'd call that a success, and we had a lot of fun. And then there are the surprises, the miscellaneous, and those things you just didn't see coming. For Dean, this was tennis. He had the opportunity to play quite a bit of tennis this month, and that meant picking up a $40 tennis club membership just for 1 month. We think that's a steal. He got to play endless amount of tennis and got to meet some new people and play on clay courts. For me, it was postcards. I have a few postcard lovers in my life, and I love sending them postcards from wherever we land, and they really enjoy receiving them. But here's the kicker. To send one postcard from Denmark to the United States was over $8. I have to say, I was pretty shocked at that amount. Other surprises? Well, while I was doing some research for a thrifting in Denmark video, there were a couple of items that just had to go in my suitcase. And that wasn't much. I think it totaled to less than $10 for a cute little bowl with Danish flags and a funky retro apron with cute little Danish couples featured on the apron. Altogether, our miscellaneous category came in at $77. So what did 30 days in Aalborg cost us in total? Here's the breakdown. When I look at that number, even Denmark is cheaper than what my monthly budget used to be back in the United States. Yes, of course, there are variables such as airfare and car ownership, but the point is full-time travel may not be as expensive as you're thinking it is. Would this have cost more in Copenhagen? You bet it would have. Staying in Aalborg gave us everything we wanted at a much lower price. Compared to our month-long stay in Vlorë, Albania, yes, Denmark was definitely pricier, but compared to Sweden, it felt pretty similar and quite doable if you stay outside of the large metro areas. So what's the takeaway? We all have our own budgets, we all have our own ideas of what are must-haves and what are luxury items. So what one person thinks is expensive and the other person thinks is cheap is kind of a personal matter, and you'll have to crunch the numbers a bit for yourself. But I'd say we avoided looking at Scandinavia for quite a while because we just didn't have all the information, and we had imagined that the cost of living was going to be much higher than it actually turned out to be. If you're willing to look past the large metro areas like Copenhagen and Stockholm, you might determine that Scandinavia is within your budget. That's our strategy for traveling, balancing experience and budget by finding those smaller cities that still give you the culture, but at a fraction of the price. If you found this breakdown helpful, if this helps you get an idea of the cost of living in Denmark, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. And keep your eye out for an upcoming video where we'll break down the cost of living in Gdansk, Poland. That one has a few surprises too. I'm so happy you could be here today, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.